Ladies and gentlemen, we are back again for episode 13 of Texan Tailgate. My name is Forrest. It's a pleasure to be here with you all. And in the chat, we also got a few other folks who are going to be joining us. We've got David Lee, Immutable, Robert, Hexy Quinn, and our very special guest, Danny the Singer. How is everyone tonight?
Doing good.
Good evening. Doing good.
Doing well.
Great to see everyone's faces, man. It's a pleasure to be here with all of you folks. I was super excited whenever David messaged me about this week, because I feel as if like I know Danny in some manner, shape, or form from the musical aspects of it. So I feel like I know him, but in reality, I don't. So for anyone who might be in the same boat as me, Danny, could you introduce yourself and let us know what you got going on?
Sure. So. Danny the Singer here. We just kind of go by that. You know, everybody has their handles, and mine's kind of funny. I mean, I've had that handle for a while because there was a guy on YouTube that with the same name as me, and he does rapping. And so when I first started doing YouTube, it was like you put in my name and just pulls up all these battle raps, and so I was like, okay, maybe we should differentiate. I'll just be Danny the Singer, you know. And then it was kind of that's how that got started.
Awesome, man. Well, I've definitely I've seen your hits on Twitter, man. I was a huge fan of the PulseChain chain.
Okay.
I love all of the stuff that you've been posting up, and you post up a lot of like positive vibes into the crypto space, which I can always appreciate, especially when everything seems heavy at times. So how do you get the inspiration for the songs? Do you just pick and choose, or like?
Man, you know, so actually, I would say that when it came to the PulseChain song, well, just backing up a little bit, I mean, I would have liked to have done more things along the way, you know, but I didn't really want to necessarily put my face out there. You know, there's OPSEC things and everything. You know, just everybody can be a little bit concerned about that, right? And so felt like we really needed to make sure everything was squared away, security wise, and all that stuff, and just before hopping in. But you know, Gary Funding Gym, and we've known him for a while, and I went to a conference with him a couple of years ago. And at that conference, it really inspired me to, you know what, I really want to be a part, you know, try to help the community more in some way, and felt like that we had kind of a nice gig going on there where we'd go and talk with folks that wouldn't otherwise hear about HEX, wouldn't otherwise hear about PulseChain, and you know, they've heard about crypto. I mean, they've heard about Bitcoin, and but these folks are like in real estate and other types of investments. And so it was just Gary was out there kind of doing the hard work, I would say, just trying to do bridge building. And so whenever we went to this conference together, it was kind of nice to work together, you know, kind of teamwork, kind of a you know, he was already talking to someone for a while, and so rather than them hearing it again from him, it's like, you know, getting another take on it or someone else's opinion. And so that worked well, and I realized, you know what, there's a place for this. There's a place for me to do that. And so that's kind of where I felt my place would be continuing that, which so been trying to do some of those things, I would say, somewhat behind the scenes. Those are things that don't require me to be a YouTuber. Those are things that we can do outside of this space. And then also just coming alongside those folks that are and have been carrying the weight for the community. You know, there's a lot of folks that have been doing that heavy lifting, you know, from the beginning. And I think that in many ways I'm an encourager, and so I'd come along and encourage them in those efforts, you know, to do. And so that's we got hooked up with Matt with Matt kind of early, so that was kind of cool with Matt and Brandon and RG3 and Kinetics, and you know, so just God opened up those doors for us to make those friendships, and it's been pretty awesome. So
Man, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So the conference is coming up fairly soon too, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's next weekend. So
this upcoming weekend.
Yeah. So when it comes to well, you're talking about music. So before we get, so you're talking about music. So music has been my jam for a long time. I mean, I love singing and done a lot of impressions and things like that through the years just for fun. Never not as a when you're the thing about music. I love music, but when you think about music, you think what do you think of when you think of people making music, making money, making music? Typically, you hear the term what?
Songwriter.
Artist. Yeah. What'd you say?
Songwriter.
Songwriter. Okay. Yes. Yeah. Songwriters. So people that write songs and can sing and can actually carry a tune with a unique, voice. Those people can make it in the music industry. Especially your voice has to be unique. Like I would say, your natural voice or what you can make your natural voice has to be unique. Pretty much, you can't make it without that. But pretty much what I think of is regardless of how good someone else is, pretty much most people are starving artists. It's like they can't make a living doing it. They love doing it, and so they're going to do it even though they can't make a living. And so I've known a number of people that they went or they sang, they did tons of singing, they sang whether it be through church and that kind of thing. So they were like singing at camps and all these different events, or maybe they were singing in bars or singing whatever. That typically they had to have some other way of making a living because they couldn't make a living singing. And so I stuck to feeding my family because I got married young and started having kids young, and so I thought, you know what, I'm going to focus on my family. And but when it comes to singing, that's where I expressed that at church. So I was very involved in my local church, and so I'd sing there a bunch and had lots of opportunities to do that. So I would say that's kind of where I got most of my singing. And then some folks started asking me to sing at things like political fundraisers and things like that. So so that's where I've done most of my singing through the years. But it's a lot of fun, and we'll have a lot of fun at the meetup. We'll definitely have karaoke. We'll have a karaoke set up. So anybody that's coming out to the Texan meetup, we'll have whether you can sing or not, it doesn't matter. Karaoke is just fun, So,
For sure.
So we'll have a lot of fun at that, and so looking forward to that. That's Friday.
Awesome, man.
Yeah.
That sounds like a blast, man. Yeah, we'll actually pull up the GenCon site in a bit. You mentioned like having a unique voice in music. How do you believe that your unique voice in music has set parallel into your unique voice within the crypto community? Do you feel as if where your voice is coming from? I guess I'm having trouble formalizing how I want to say it, but it's compelling, right, to me, whenever I feel it.
Yes.
So how do you think that your experience in church and with your past, how do you think it translates over to the crypto space from your eyes?
Okay. So I guess for me, I would say there's two things that I would say are unique about me, and not my voice itself. I really honestly can't tell you, because there's some amazing voices out there, man. I've heard some people that I'm like, wow, those folks should be doing that for a living, right? And that have amazing voices, but it's not like it doesn't stick out. And I've been to, people have gone, why didn't you go, go do these singing competitions and things like that. And, I've been enough in that space to be able to understand that my voice is not, it's not raspy enough, or it's not whiny enough. And there's voices that if you heard someone outside of singing their song and they're singing somebody else's song, it sounds horrible. For example, there's a dude that's an amazing country singer. He's super popular. I forget the dude's name. He's the guy that's on American Idol. What's his name?
I have no clue.
It's Luke Bryan.
Oh, okay.
No.
I'm familiar with Luke Bryan.
Anyway, he's a great singer, right? But he comes out and sings a song like "It's Too Late to Apologize," and it's too late to apologize. It just sounds horrible, right? So you got to have the right right voice with the right song,
For sure.
One of those things. But the point is that you can have an amazing voice and not have the whatever else. So, but anyway, back to your question. I think what would be unique about me is, I would say, is that whenever I'm singing a song that really is a song that I feel, that's true to me, that's true to my beliefs, that's true to my heart, then as long as I prepare, and what I mean is that as long as I can memorize the lines well and be ready for the song, then I can just let loose and convey that through, so the emotion comes through. And so that's the feedback that I've received from people, is that whenever I sing a song, is that the emotion comes through, and they feel it. So that's that, whether it be a patriotic song or it be a song of faith. And so that's one. And I guess the other place where I would say that I'm unique is that in being able to do so I can do many different styles, and that's pretty unique. So I can do anything from opera, rap, country. I wouldn't say that I'm the best like hip hop, but when it comes to pretty much any style you could throw out there, I can probably do a song and make it believable. And that's just fun. That's just raw fun. I mean, that's doing that. So that's where the karaoke stuff's kind of fun. Whether it be B-52s, like
yeah, man.
You see a faded sign at the side of the road that says 15 miles to the. Okay, that's
dude.
B-52s, or country or something.
Dude, B-52s are awesome, man. I listened to a cool story from Don Was, a producer who worked with the B-52s. He was on a connecting flight in New York, and basically there was an overlay, and he went into the studio with where the B-52s happened to be, and they were working on Love Shack Baby, that song, right?
Yeah.
So like he gets there, he's like just defining it all, and he's like, oh my goodness, I walked in and it was just chaos. There's like there's lyrics on the walls, there's lyrics walking down to the ground across the floor in the studio. He's like, and I went in and I just removed a bunch of pieces of paper and then I rearranged them, and that's how Love Shack was born. So I mean, it's magical in a way, man. I mean, music and what you're doing with it continues that magic that is built in inherently, man. So I think it's really good.
I'd like to do more. I'd like to do more, and I will do more. It's just I've been pretty busy with the launch of PulseChain stuff that we're doing, and then with the foundation that we started, and then with the GenCon coming up,
right?
And I still have a day job kind of, and so that's kind of, so I have that going on too. So it's like with all these different things that it's kind of and I have a family obviously, so that's important to me. So it's been that's definitely taken a back seat, but I do have a bunch of ideas of songs I'd like to do. And you asked me earlier about inspiration. Well, really I'm a competitive person, and so and also I get encouraged by what other people are doing. So like, for example, whenever Paul Potts is a dude, he was on Britain's Got Talent or whatever, he sang Nessun Dorma, and I see this cell phone guy, he's a cell phone salesman up there singing Nessun Dorma and like nailing it, and then he goes on to win the whole thing. I don't know if you know that, but he went on to win the Britain's Got Talent with that. I was like, opera. So dude, that's cool. I mean, could I do that? I think I could do that. So from a standpoint of just for not competitive, like saying I can do that better, but just from a like me being pushed by somebody else. You follow me? Like someone else did something cool, and I'm being pushed by that, saying, yeah, I could do that.
Yeah, great.
So like for Paul Potts, it was like, I'm going to learn Nessun Dorma. So I learned that, and just for the heck of it, I learned it and did that. So, and then that's actually, it's interesting. Funny story behind that is that Nessun, when I learned that song, it's in Italian, and I sang it one time at one event, just for the heck of it, because they were like, "Oh, you can do this? Yeah, that'd be great. We'll throw it in there in the show, kind of a variety show." And then I was, but people that speak Italian, people that are from Italian, that are from Italy, speak Italian, love whenever someone else speaks in Italian to them, and if you think they love speaking Italian, they even love it 10 times more if you sing Italian.
Ooh.
And it's just, they go crazy. And so I had one of my potential clients I was meeting with one day. He was like, I said, hey, I can sing in Italian. He's like, no, yeah, I can sing in Italian. And so I start singing Nessun Dorma, and the guy kind of like, they're so emotional. He's just like, oh my gosh, oh, this is amazing, And so then, like about 4 or 5 months later, it was Christmas, and it was I'm walking along. My daughter's gonna perform in a parade, and this guy, he's actually one of the judges for the parade, And whenever he sees me, he's like, Danny, oh Danny, and he'd been drinking, and and he's like, oh, we're waiting for the parade. You should come sing a song. I was like, oh, okay. I was like, I don't have anything with the tracks or anything. No. Sing Nessun Dorma. I said, that's not a Christmas song. I said, it's totally not a Christmas song. And he's like, no, everyone would love it. Everyone would love it. You come sing the song. And I was like, oh, okay. And so I walk over there, and they're like, give the mic to Danny. He's going to sing us a song. And so I'm out there. This is like the parade where they have the MCs kind of waiting, kind of filling time and talking about the parade and everything while the parade's kind of coming down the road. He's gonna sing a song for us. Okay, good then. So I'm just singing Nessun Dorma like in the street for a parade, and it's and if you know the lyrics, they're crazy, like kind of morbid lyrics,
Right.
It's from an opera, and so then they're like, hey, you should come back and sing next year at the parade, so you sing Christmas songs to the next. So I started singing at the parade, and then that parade actually took me into doing other things. So I've sang at some other events for different things because of the parade. And so then they're like, hey, would you come sing at our fundraiser or this and that? So anyway, that's how I kind of got doing a lot of those things. Is just because this drunk Italian dude wanted me to sing an opera song at a Christmas parade.
That's amazing. That's how all the best opportunities show up, man. That's too cool.
That's a perfect tailgate story too, Danny. That's awesome, man.
Talk to us a little bit about your foundation, man. I'd be interested in learning more about it.
All right, so cool. Yeah. So it really ties in with a lot of the folks here. I mean, they're going to be super connected with, and they're going to understand kind of a lot of what drives Matt, Crypto Heartbeat, and making a difference, right? And so much of the crypto space and stuff is all about big gains, and then win Lambo, all these things. Obviously I'm a human. I have desires, I have things I'd like to have, physical things, but really the making a difference is something that's hugely that's what really drives me, is making a difference and giving back and being a good steward of the resources that God's given me. So it was kind of real clear to my wife and I that we were like, how do we do that? And everything kind of lined up together. I had a business coach for my business, and my business coach was like, hey, you need to like put together your plan. You have your business plan. What is your plan? And then that push to do that coincided with things starting to pop, so to speak, right? And so it allowed me to dream. I read a couple of really cool books. There's a guy named Bob Goff. He's written a book called Love Does. If you haven't read that book, it's really awesome. It's almost like you read this guy's story. It's like almost like a fictional book. It's like, can this be real? What this dude has done? And it's real. It's true. So Love Does by Bob Goff, Goff. And that book inspired me. There's some other ministries that I had some exposure to that inspired me, and they all kind of gelled together with this concept of basically what the right hand is it is kind of like a GoFundMe, right? Everybody's familiar with GoFundMe. It's a crowdfunding platform, except this would be a crowdfunding platform specifically for ministries, for folks that are doing amazing work already. And what you probably don't realize, but I'm sure you'd believe real quickly, is that there are hundreds, or there's thousands of these small ministries. They're doing amazing work that you will never hear about because they're small, right? And they're impacting, let's say they're impacting 10,000 people or 100 people in an amazing way, but you're never going to hear about them because they don't have a marketing firm out there promoting them, right? You don't know. But they're doing amazing work, and it's dedicated people that have given their lives, and they'll give the last penny that they have to do what they're doing. Like a lot of these folks, a lot of these ministries are like the executive director is the person doing all the work, right? They're also the person that does the fundraising, and they don't do that very well because they're focusing on the ministry, right? They're doing the work, and then a lot of these they take some meager salary, just to cover their basic expenses. And sometimes they don't even do that, but they're serving the people. So what we would do with the right hand is we find these. There's a number of different ways how we find these, but we vet them, and then we'll take those ministries and we'll promote them. We'll provide this platform where people can give, not people that already give to them, but people that like you guys, right? People that are like, wow, there's a ministry doing that stuff. That's awesome. I'd like to help them. Here's $10, or here's $100, right? And it's just an easy way for people to give. I mean, you've seen people on YouTube where they'll come alongside somebody that needs something. Oh, this person, you know, they had this terrible thing happen to them. Would you want to give a few bucks? And then they collect money for them, and they change their lives. Well, that's what we do, but we do that for these ministries, and we do it in a very strategic way. And so that's what the right hand is. For example, let's say there's a ministry down here right now that does you have these kids they're being abused. Maybe their parents are on drugs, maybe whatever the situation. The parents go to jail. They're like, what do we do with the kids? We need to get them into a foster home, but that typically didn't take place like in hours, right? So these kids have to go to this place where it might be for a half a day, it might be for a week, until they get placed in a foster home. And a lot of that time sometimes they're sleeping on the floor of an office somewhere, you know, just to get them out of that environment. Or they might even have to take them to some place that's even worse, just because they don't have a place for them. So what this ministry does, it provides a place for them to go in that interim. That's one of the ministries. So what we do is we would help them with the project where they say, hey, we need a thing for these kids to do while they're waiting. Here's a playground. We have a playground, but it's dilapidated. The last kid got cut and had to go get a tetanus shot, you know. So we're going to put a good playground, for example. And there you go. Bang. Yeah. So we raise money for a playground. We're not trying to raise money to support their ministry the whole year. We're just strategically, helping them out. And that's what the right hand does. Yeah.
Dude, awesome. That's super cool. And thank you for that backstory. That's really awesome to know where it spawns from and everything as well. Yes. We had a couple of questions come in here in the panel too. I forgot to give everyone a shout out. I was I was too quick with the trigger whenever we popped in here. Like I went and I was going to introduce everybody one by one, and I clicked a button and everyone showed up at once. So okay. I wanted to give a shout out to the chat really quick for everyone who's in there. So Samantha, holler to you. Yup, K, Hex Force 1, Godfather J6, Facing Reality. We got all sorts of folks in here. Logan's in the house. But there was a question specifically about two different things. One was could crypto ever become a genre? Okay, that's an interesting one. I'll let you munch on that one for a second. I don't know. Thoughtchild said he hopes not, and I tend to agree. I think that we got enough genres and subgenres already, and we should just.
We saw that with the Island Boys, right?
I'm gonna be an island boy. That's too funny, man. Drick's in the house. What's up, brother? So Thothchild has a genuine question for panel. Why do we think that production elements and styles of hip hop keep showing up in country music, but never the other way around? Okay. So why do we think that hip hop is influencing country music, but why we don't see country music influencing hip hop? I think
simple answer. One is promoted by the popular culture and one is not. It's not. So you jump on those, coattails. Get as much out of it as you can.
Yeah, and I would say also I think that it's really easy for country music to take advantage of the situation in a way that not other genres can, being that the largest CD buying population is comprised of country music enthusiasts. That is a statistic that you can look up, and it's been that way for the last 20 years. I don't think that it'll ever change. So it's an easy way for them to captivate an audience that also favors the hip hop side of things as well. But yeah, thanks for that. That was a fun one. I'd had a good question here, but before I say
about that,
please.
So so I grew up in the time where, there's different kind of genre, I would say epochs, or time periods of country music, and you have like the old fashioned, like Bob Wells and all these, style. You have another style of country, which is like the cowboy style, which is still out there, and it's more of a I can't think of the word, but it's kind of a one-off. Like you might go to an event and we got a cowboy. So it's kind of interesting thing. But you're not going to listen to that every day, right? Then you have the style that I grew up with was like, you know, Clint Black, George Strait, Alan Jackson, and that was true to country, you know, kind of a thing. And then you had there was a lot of rock influence at the time that started coming in to, you know, to country. And my dad was always like, all these long-haired country boys are just they couldn't make it in rock, and so they came to country. You know, it's like it's like some of that was true, you know, like so, but it's country, you know, in many ways is it kind of, I think it's a lot of it's storytelling, and it's telling what's going on at the time, and some of that's just going to pull in the different styles, I think. And so you have rock, you know, come in, and I haven't really heard the hip hop influences, and of course there's Big and Rich or whatever were the first ones that were like starting to do it like rap country, and I thought that was ridiculous, honestly, you know.
Yeah.
You remember that, like the
Yeah, absolutely ridiculous. Honky tonk, but donka donk.
Okay, yeah,
I know what you're talking about.
I hated that. Oh my gosh.
Well, I also I love. All right, for the record, just in case Tim McGraw ever on the off chance sees this, I love Tim McGraw. I could not stand his collaboration with Nelly. Over and over again. Over and over again, and it played over and over again, like throughout my high school career, and it was like just
You know what works though, like amazing though, is like soul music and country. So there's one of my favorite albums of all time is called Country Music and Soul. Mm-hmm. That's actually where I got that song, the Chain Chain Chain. It was Clint Black and the Pointer Sisters. Ooh, and they collaborated. Nice. You had like Aaron Neville and Lyle Lovett do a song together. You had some they had anyway, just check that out. I mean, it's
I'll definitely check that out.
Really good music. I think it's country rhythm and blues or something like that.
That sounds amazing. It reminds me.
It's kind of it's good music.
Country R&B. I got it right there. It reminds me of the Picking On. Have you ever seen those albums? Like it's like the bluegrass players, and it's like Picking On Metallica, and they rip apart Metallica's discography, and it's just a mandolin, a banjo, a guitar, and an upright bass, and they just tear it up. It's amazing. I love any of those the cross pollination of styles like that. It breeds something new. Let's see here. I did have, all right, so I wanted to get us back on to the crypto content a little bit, because I could talk to you about music all day long, every day, and I would love for you to be again on here just to talk about music, as well as my other channel to talk just about music. But I did want to touch on GenCon. I'm going to pull the screen up, and before I do, though, I was going to ask if you could describe GenCon 2023 in 3 words, what would they be?
In 3 words. Like 3 descriptive words, or like do I need to make like the tagline here in 5 seconds?
You can do it. You can do it. You can really freelance it however you want.
I would say generosity conference. No, kidding.
That's what I would have done. I would have done the same thing.
2023.
Awesome. And then awesome.
There's 3 beautiful. Hey, no, I love it.
No. So inspiration. I think inspiration would be the first one. So I think that this is a lot about inspiration. I would say connecting is another one, because I mean we're wanting to connect people. You know, you are the sum of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. You know, or that you allow to influence you. Maybe that's the best way. You know, you don't necessarily but if you allow those people to influence you, you may not be surrounded by the best people, but you can also, if you can't be with people, you can read, you know, really good stuff, right, that somebody's written, and you know, you can take someone's ethos right through their writing. But so you think of it that way, you're kind of the sum of the people that you respect the most and that you spend time with. And so we're trying to let people come together as well. So that's where the connecting would be. So and then legacy.
Nice.
So just say 3 words. So
beautiful.
Yeah, the legacy is kind of self-explanatory. I mean, seeking to inspire people to come together and create a legacy.
Awesome. I dig it, man. That is a solid tagline. I think that's all admirable words as well. Positive. I think that's awesome. I'm going to pull it up here on the screen for folks who are unaware. GenCon 2023 is coming up soon, as in this upcoming weekend. So if you want to learn more about it or register for a ticket, I'm sure that the tickets are almost gone, if not already at this point.
So technically they closed the registration, but
Okay.
because we knew we were doing this, they extended it for a couple more days. So we have to get everything. I mean, everything, all the food and everything, coordinating. There's actually gifts. I mean, there's things that they're all in part of this. So when you do a conference, and so the last day was actually yesterday, but we extended that.
Okay.
So it's actually going to be tomorrow. Tomorrow evening is the deadline. So you can do it tonight or tomorrow, and then that'll be closed. Now the meetup as well. We also extended that. So we do need to have a total count. We're closing that today or tonight.
Okay.
So we have to give the restaurant the total count. So that's something that I hope folks will jump on if they're coming.
Absolutely. Yeah. If you all have any interest in making it to this definitely go ahead and take advantage of that extension that they have, because it looks like it's a star-studded lineup. I mean, if you just read like the tags here, I mean, welcome to GenCon 2023, unique and intimate one-day conference dedicated to generosity, fellowship, stewardship, and community. We're going to be going over with members of HEX, PulseChain, Compassion Cartel, and the TEXAN communities to explore all the purpose of giving and generosity. It's going to be hosted by our very own guest tonight, Danny the Singer, part of the Right Hand Foundation and Crypto Heartbeat. So you already got plenty enough good reasons to make it there, and I wish that I could be out there. I really do.
Some of the folks. I'm not going to be able to remember everybody. Brandon is not going to be there, but I mentioned earlier that he was going to come. He told me he was coming initially, but then it's pretty hard with a new baby to make that commitment to leave your wife at home, and so totally understand. He has a total permission to miss this, but we have the folks from Ophir are going to be there.
Awesome.
One of the speakers is that doctor dude. What's his name?
Yeah, Doc Vince.
Dr. Vince. Yeah. Kinetics is going to be there. He'll be there for the conference
awesome.
as a guest, and we'll have Hex Monkey, Matt Long. These are folks that are going to be there as well. But I hope they don't mind me saying that they're coming. but yeah, it's, I know there's some more. But yeah,
dude, you had me at karaoke, and everyone else was sprinkles, man. I mean, each one of them cherries on top all the way through. I think that's going to be amazing. I mean, honestly, I think it's such a good thing too to be bringing the communities together to commingle as well as share that unified vision of generosity and not necessarily what we do with our wealth in purchasing physical items for ourselves, for the selfishness of it, but how we use the gift that is created by all of us together to give back and create a stronger community. Does that sound pretty accurate?
Yeah.
It's awesome, man.
So yeah, I just want to say, like, that's right there, kind of what you were summarizing is exactly what like initially got me involved with Matt and the Compassion Cartel, like seeing his vision for like the largest crypto VC firm for good, or however he described it. He's much more eloquent than I am. But then reading through the when I first heard about this and like was reading through the site, this is exactly what kind of what you were saying earlier. Like, yeah, we all have our things that we want. We want to have a nicer house or have a nicer life or whatever. But one of the first things both my brother and I talked about once we got into crypto and we realized like the potential that crypto could have was like, we want to, there's a certain like it's a Christian camp that we grew up going to, and we've always wanted to like give back and set up like stuff so that like underprivileged kids could go there, because like it made such an impact on our lives. And then you were talking, like I was looking through the Right Hand Foundation here, and like some of the stuff on there is awesome. And so like, you were mentioning about the marketing and how like you don't really have any marketing for it, and like the only time you might hear about like these things is they come in on like once a quarter to your church, and they present like maybe you have 5 minutes up there on stage for the congregation. And so this is awesome. And this is I'm really disappointed that I'm going to be missing it at previous plans, but this is awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
No doubt. Hey, I wanted to take a break here. I'm gonna poll everybody. You get one opportunity here. All right, it's Father's Day. I think that there's some fathers in the room. I'm just guessing, right? Like just statistically, there's probably a couple of fathers in this room. So happy Father's Day to you, first of all. But I want to hear everyone's best dad joke, and that includes Hexy Quinn. I know you got a couple of dad jokes. You ain't got none? You got some. You're muted, girl.
I got one.
All right. Start us off strong, girl. Let's go.
Oh, I don't want to start.
Oh, you don't want to? All right, I'll fall flat on my face first.
Okay.
All right. Why don't eggs tell jokes? Because they might crack up.
Oh,
That was really
Knee
bad.
slapper, right?
Yeah. There's some dudes like that come across my feed. Like while they're sitting there like on a dock, and they're just with a cup of coffee, and they keep going back and forth. Have you seen these guys?
I haven't. No, but
Every
awesome.
time that I hear them say a dad joke, it's something I've never heard before, and each one of them is hilarious. Yeah, it comes across my feed because I'm a dad. I don't know.
You probably won't find one of those jokes here.
No. We got no good jokes. No good jokes mostly. What you got, Immutable?
And the dad jokes, they're pretty much one-liners. They're pretty short, right?
Yeah. Something's. You got
so
something?
Mine is my wife asked me the other day where I got so much candy. So I said, I always have a few Twix up my sleeve.
So, oh my goodness.
that's terrible.
Yeah.
That's terrible, and I know mine's still worse.
Go for it, bro. Prove it.
Okay. Why are elevator jokes so good?
Don't know.
They're funny on many levels.
Oh.
Terrible.
I told you.
Yo. All right. So we had 3, and
I want to say hi to Hexy Quinn because I've never met you before. And hey, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Thank you so much for promoting my the PulseChain video and stuff. That was cool.
Oh, thank you for the content. That was hilarious.
Yeah. And awesome. Immutable. Thank you. I had never met you before. Thank you, sir. And Robert.
Nice to meet you,
sir. And
Cheer
of course,
up, Robert.
Forrest. I've never met you either, but the only person I met here is David. But thank you for having me on here. I appreciate that. So, but I just wanted to meet. Since we didn't have that formal,
Yeah, man. I appreciate you doing that, man. Yeah, it's great for you to take the time to be on here with us and like let us chop it up with you. We try to keep everything super chill, relaxed. That way everyone can just come in and enjoy the crypto content. We always trying to cover stuff like in the DeFi network, and everything that you're doing co-aligns with like the greater vision of like just doing good for the community. So I don't speak for everybody, but I speak for myself when I say that I appreciate like all that positivity there. Oh, look at the pub copy on their screen.
Hey, Danny.
Did anybody how many folks are in? I can't see any like chat or anything. How many folks are in here right now?
It looks like we got 10 currently viewing.
Okay. Is there anybody in here that doesn't know anything about know my backstory, that wants to hear any of my backstory or anything like that? Or do you want to skip to other stuff?
Dude, I love hearing OG stories, and even that part about Gary and you promoting HEX and building the community. All that old timey history is super cool.
Okay. Well, just to be clear, I just want to make sure you understand my part in that was super small, but because Gary's like doing it constantly, but thankfully he pulled me in on some of that and inspired me. So I need to say this because I forgot to say I kind of was taking you down this. You're asking about music and why did I start doing the things, and I told you about Paul Potts, and I got taken off down another story about singing at a parade, right? But I wanted to say that you said why did I do what inspired me to do this? Well, the other folks in the community that did music, that put stuff out. So you had like Freddie Quotes, right? He's done music, he's done his raps, and then spent a little time with Corey the Investor. And out of the raps that I've heard, I think I liked Corey's the best. No offense to anybody else, just because of I really liked his, he was really specific. It's like he was literally telling you how to, like, what hex was and what percentage and everything, so it was pretty cool. But at the same time, it was fun and it sounded cool. And then, and then Westcott started doing like some of these, what do you call that? Spoofs, or what do you, no, not parodies, where you take a song and then you change the words, so he did that. And so I was like, yeah, man, that's fun. That's something I could do quickly, versus if you want to write a song from scratch, it's going to take longer, but take a song that's already out there that has a similar, you can just take it and pull up a karaoke and go for it, so, but yeah, so I would say it was the community that inspired me to do that. And so pushing, like I said, we push each other, we inspire each other. And so that's what made me do that. As far as my background, it's interesting how many folks in the space have such similar backgrounds. I would say, when you talk to Kinetics and hear his backstory, it's like, oh, it's like the same backstory. You get involved in something. I heard about this new, heard about crypto. I thought, man, I started looking into it, researching. I had some funds that were just sitting there that I wanted to be a good steward of those funds. And if I put it in the bank, it was going to sit there and do nothing. And it was basically insurance money that I needed to repair, rebuild my house. I thought, well, man, what if I put them here? There's a program I could put them in where you're going to be getting a certain percentage, ranging anywhere from like 0.5% to like 1.5% per day. Mm-hmm. I was like, holy smokes, that's pretty good percentage, so put a big chunk of money in there. You buy your Bitcoin, you trade it for their coin, and you put it in their system. And then oh, wow, look at this. It's growing. Look at that, and then when you want to pull out, well, it all collapsed on itself. And so I experienced that fun. Mm-hmm. And I wish I would have put as much in. I wish I had enough left to put that in HEX, but the point is that I probably wouldn't have listened to Richard Hart had I not experienced the difficulty, the difficult times, so what I did after that was realize, let me just focus on trading, get down to the technicals. I've done it before, and I was mildly successful. Now I'm just going to focus really. I'm going to do all the right things. I'm going to trade properly, set my stops, all these things, right? Do all that. And guess what? I didn't realize, and I didn't know that that's all rigged. When it comes to crypto, it's all rigged because the exchanges, they know where your stops are there. And then I didn't know they were trading against you as well. So we need leverage trade, and they have all your numbers there. Why wouldn't they just trade against you? They know where the Fibonacci, they know all that. So they know where people's stops are. Even if they didn't know exactly where their stops are, they know where they think they're going to be. But I presume that they knew where everybody's were because it's all in their system. You're trading in their platform. They have all the numbers. So then you have these scam wicks that just take you out of the trade that I knew was a good trade, but then they take you out and then it goes up. Right. And so I lost a bunch of money there again, and doing the right things. And then that's when I found out about Richard, and he's talking about all these things. He says, hey, don't get involved in Ponzi schemes, and, if you're not your keys, not your coins. And he says, the one that kind of hit me, he says, don't trade. So there's a guy that by the way, on a spiritual level, he and I probably are diametrically opposed, like not diametrically opposed because he's a good guy. But what I mean is that we have different belief systems, put it that way. But here he is saying, don't trade because you're not actually contributing to society. You're not contributing. You're just sitting here on your computer trying to take from that guy. He's in his computer trying to take your money. And that's not exactly what trading is, but it's kind of what trading is. So it's kind of like, okay, that's not something I think I want to be involved with. But then he's also, who wins in that? The exchanges. The exchanges are the ones that win, and not you, not the traders. Most people lose money trading, and I saw that, I experienced that, and so I believed what he said, because it wasn't like he just started saying that out of the blue. He'd been saying it for a while, and I experienced it. So then I listened, and unfortunately, I didn't have as much dry powder. But the point is as I listened and I put it to practice, and thankfully my wife was patient with me and all that, and had trust, and and it paid off. So I'm very thankful for that. Now, here's something interesting. Remember, this is a little nugget, I think, and that is that if for those that actually listen to, because there's so many people that are contributors these days, so many people putting content out there, so many different ideas, and most of it is guessing and conjecture, right? It's like that kind of muddies the water a little bit. I support the community. I'm not saying don't keep doing what you're doing, but if you kind of get back to some of these things, these basics that Richard talked about, then what you find is that if I had just stuck to just listening to him, then I would be much further ahead. Number one, but two is that also it's not too late. So when he said who makes money, who makes money and people trade, and he says, I know people are going to trade. We talked about PulseChain coming out. He's like, hey, PulseChain's going to be coming out. I realized that there's going to be degen stuff happening on PulseChain. He's like, we're not going to like keep people from putting scam coins on. It's immutable. It's a code. People can launch things on there if they want, and people are going to trade. So we're going to provide a platform for people to trade. But guess what? He's not taking the fees. It's not a centralized exchange taking the fees. It's there for us to take the fees. So if you're willing to contribute to the system and be a liquidity provider, if you're willing to go in there, so I'm not saying hop in there and be a trading and try to do all this trading. I'm saying get in there, and if you like Pulse and you like PulseX, and you're going to hold both of them anyway, put them in a liquidity pool and be earning ink token. You know what I'm saying? Or put them in there in V2 and be earning fees. If you like them both, just put them in there, and if you have it. If you don't have it, then man, buy HEX when it's low, buy TEXAN when it's low. Buy these things that are low. And what else does Richard say? Fundamental. Who makes money? Holders and founders. So buy it, hold it, stake it if you can. Don't sell it. So that's the thing about some of these folks doing ink. The ink token. I mean, there's people farming it, and then they just keep selling it. Like they'll go in there, they'll I guess every day they're just like harvesting it and selling it. It's like that's making sense. It's like you're just been there working. You're working for no reason, spending gas fees and everything. I know the gas fees are cheap, but still, you're just wasting time, in my opinion. If you're selling it, leave it alone. Put it in there, and just let it harvest. Don't harvest it. Just let it keep. The longer you leave it in there, the more that you're going to earn, and then just sit on it and just wait. Just wait, because they're going to come out with some kind of news about the ink token, and here's what we're going to be needing it for. It's going to be I'm not saying this is what it is, but let's just say they said we're going to launch a wallet, and the only thing we're taking as a sack is ink. Okay, what would happen to the ink token? It would go through the roof, right? Why? Because people they have to buy it in order to do that. Why would he do something like that? Well, because he's rewarding all those people that were creating liquidity. And maybe I'm just thinking about this. What if he feels bad about about V1 not working right, and then now you have people that lost. They had a permanent loss, but they were earning the ink token, and then those folks have been holding it. And then he says, "Hey, we're doing something." The thing is that the dude doesn't make junk, right?
Right.
Can you imagine Richard coming out and saying, "I'm just going to make a crap coin"? No, there's going to be value in it, and everything he does has pumpamentals.
Sure.
Like he invented that word, as far as I'm concerned. I've never heard anybody say it until him. So I think he invented it. Everything he does is pumpamentals. So when he comes out with this ink token, there's going to be value, and it will go up. So stop selling it and just hold on to it. HODL it, man. It's like people buying a pizza with Bitcoin, and now could have been $40 million worth of
Crazy, right?
So pizza.
Makes you sick to your stomach.
Yeah, there's gonna
Without
be
the calories.
there's gonna be some, and it might be some, obviously that was just a total just shooting from the hip. But there's other things that people have said that it might be, it might be, what if people that want to launch, what if TEXAN token? What if they say, hey, we're gonna put a thing out there, we want to have other pairs in the farm, and in order to decide who gets to be in there, you have to put up a certain amount of ink.
Mm-hmm.
Well, guess what? Everybody in Texan's going to be, dude, we need an ink token because we need to put it next. We want Texan to be listed in the farm. You know what I mean? I mean, like there's going to be, it's going to be something along those. There's going to be some governance or something built out of it. So
I agree. I've felt the same about it. I was telling some folks who I knew who sacked for Pulse about ink, and they were unaware of it because that's how new they were to just everything. But yeah, I think that in the future we'll see it do things, and who knows what those things will be. But I'm sure that it will perform something.
I'm
a
sorry
magic
I got
trick.
Serious there.
No, dude,
No,
I was just enjoying listening, man. Sounds good. Hey, Drix wanted to give you a shout out. He says,
Hey, what's up, Drix?
yeah, he says, I believe that you all met briefly on the HEX cruise. He's the tall, bald, handsome dude taking pictures, baby. Hope you saw the finished files.
We did. We met, but it's like I didn't put two and two together. Like it was just we met just barely, like in passing, and then and I didn't put two and two together until after the cruise, and then it was like, oh, that was Drix. Like okay. So yeah, I wish that I would have understood that on the cruise. We would have spent more time.
Oh, good, man. Yeah. So what was the HEX cruise like? What was your take? Like, was it awesome? Was it amazing? Like, I got to live vicariously through you on this.
No, it was fantastic. I mean, I would say, we have a real gem in the community with Kaylin, because she's very organized and putting that stuff together, and so it's really awesome that she's found her niche, in the community to help put these together, and so everything was really smooth as far as I'm concerned. It was super smooth. There were we got to meet some interesting people. There was a lady, let me tell you a story. There's a lady we met that she was there by herself. She heard about the HEX cruise. She just bought a ticket, and she found out about she worked at like Waffle House. I think it's Waffle House, and she some dude that was like in there. He's in there with his laptop, and he was like, "Have you heard about HEX?" And she's like, "What are you talking about?" So he sits down and explains what HEX is to her, and then he comes back and he helps her set up a MetaMask and everything else. And she puts in $17,000 into. She put $17,000 into HEX like before big payday, and then so this woman is just like, she's just there. She doesn't know anybody. She doesn't know anybody in crypto, and she doesn't even know who this guy is. She doesn't know because he didn't come back. Like after he helped her, she didn't see him again. She's like, I wish I knew who he was. I would tell him thank you.
Yeah.
Just isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
That's way crazy.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah. Then there was some other dude. Anyway, but so we got to meet people. They had some different times where we can kind of just talk and visit. Of course, on a cruise, you sit kind of with the same people at dinner, but we kind of mix that up. We just decided, you know what? Let's mix this up, especially because some people didn't come. They had like reservations or whatever at the nicer place, and so. Which food's super nice, just like it is, but then so we kind of mix it up, and we met the dude, the 5 the what's it the HEX days guy,
David.
David, yeah, with the so he does the shirts, the HEX shirts. By the way, we make sure we got to do a Texan. Have they done a Texan shirt?
We got merch.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Forrest designs it. That's why he's being a smart ass right now.
I have no clue. I mean, no. That's too funny.
Yeah,
no, I mean, we got it.
Forrest.
So we got to meet him and his family. Super sweet. Her. Anyway, they had some training one day, and then that's actually where I met Access Alive. I don't know what his real name is, but Axis guy. You know, it's like so we met him, and now I'm part of his community there. So we do that, and I wouldn't have been a part of that if I had not gone to that. So they also gave us the dudes that wrote the HEX book were there, and they gave a bunch of free copies of the book out. Had an opportunity to buy some our HEX art, you know, that they did, and so just lots of different stuff.
Awesome.
And then of course you have all that's the HEX stuff, and then we had they did the HEX awards there,
Man.
and yeah,
That's awesome, man. It sounds like it was a blast. We had Black Hexagon on, and she was talking about it as well. It was like everybody's response is just encouraging, and I can't wait for the days that I get to join you all up on there and do big old cannonballs into the swimming pool. That's the dream, man. I mean, I think that this is all really cool.
we're plugging the laptop in real quick. It's about to die. Just a sec.
Oh, all good. Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say we're rolling up on the hour mark. I was just going to give everyone a chance to fill in any questions that you may have for Danny about GenCon 2023, about his foundation, anything in particular. Feel free to ask away, and we'll get ready to close out here at 10 o'clock.
You've been crushing it for us. The only question I had is there plans for a GenCon 2024 so that some of the people, myself, that didn't get to go or aren't going to get to go will be able to participate in the future?
He may not have even heard us yet. Okay, got you. Awesome.
Yes, yeah, there is. So a lot of times whenever you go to a conference, they already have the next year lined up so that when you come, you can sign up. This isn't like we're playing this a little more informal. Yeah, so we don't have the next one lined up yet, but we definitely will have this again.
Awesome.
And based upon I would imagine that because we'll have folks that were kind of this core group that were in this first one, and then we can promote it again, and we can have those folks are going to be out there talking about it, and as here we are at the beginning launch of Pulse, and a lot of folks are still like just being penny, we need to be saving and penny pinching, right? So not wanting to travel, that kind of thing is totally understandable. It's like we haven't hit the big gains yet. So as the gains start happening, as we come out of the bear market, then I figure we'll have a lot more folks, and then we'll have it at a bigger facility. We're keeping it, like I said, pretty small.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
I want to thank you and Matt for doing it, Danny. I'm going to be very proud representing the Texan tailgate there and learning from all these speakers, and looking forward to all the good works that this community will do in the future. Appreciate it, man.
Yes, sir.
I'm so stoked.
Oh yeah, and yeah, me too. Oh, and Danny, Friday night, I was screaming at the captain, "Don't get in the truck with him! Don't do it!"
I figured out how to get music, by the way. So we do have some music.
Well, that's the perfect thing, man. So like, I wanted to give you another opportunity to just say anything that you would like to tell the folks in the chat, or a message you'd like to send. And then if you're open to it, maybe you could do our outro tonight, if you would be so kind.
Sure. So if you do want to find me, you can go find me on Twitter at it's the singer_DM, Twitter_DM, like direct message, and that's where you could find me. And then I guess I am on YouTube technically, but yeah. But that's where I want folks to find me, is there on Twitter. That's a crypto place.
And he said, just look at the screen really quick and just confirm with me. That's correct.
That's correct. Capital S, capital no. The singer.
I'm gonna take it off.
Thank
the
you.
singer DM. Yeah, let me edit it real quick for you. That way I get the right stuff on there. The singer_DM. All right, let's pull that back up for the folks. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to Texan Tailgate. It's been great here. We're gonna let Danny take us out tonight, and take us away, my friend.
Let's see if this works. Wait. Chain, chain, chain. I can't hear it. Here it goes. PulseChain, chain. PulseChain, chain. PulseChain, chain. It's coming soon. Y'all hear this all right? For 2 long years, been waiting for launch day. Just 2 more weeks, I just kept hearing them say, oh no, there ain't no expectations, oh, coming from this guy. But based on past layer of launches, I think we're going sky high. With PulseChain, chain, it's coming soon. Ain't no other chain got such community, sacking for freedom of speech and individual sovereignty. Oh yeah. They told me to leave you alone. My father said stocks and bonds. My buddy said it's a scam. Richard Hart is the king of spam. Poor pleb, you're gonna miss PulseChain, chain. PulseChain, chain. PulseChain, chain. It's coming soon. One of these. Oh, there's like a